You see, verse 32 continues, and he will separate the people one from another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. You see, the king's judgment will divide people into one of two camps, into the camp of sheep or the camp of goats. Not literal sheep or goats, but right, like descriptions, right? And what is critical for us to see this morning and what we cannot miss is the basis on which Jesus' just judgment is executed. You see, it is easy to read this passage and quickly and to think, well, it seems pretty obvious that the difference between these two groups is just what they did or did not do to those who were poor or sick or needy or in prison, what they did or did not do to the least of these. And I just need you to see this morning that is dangerously misguided for two critically important reasons. You see, the first is that it misses the who. It misses who the least of these are, and also it misses why the who matters. You see, this passage is often misunderstood and misused to teach that sacrificially serving anyone who is poor or sick or needy or in prison is the same thing as serving Jesus. But that is not what the passage says. Verse 40, Jesus says this, "Whatever you did for the least of these, brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Everywhere else in Matthew's gospel, brothers and sisters, it means biological siblings or spiritual family. I just need you to hear this. I am not saying that as Christians we should not care about serving sacrificially those who are poor and needy. That is not what I am saying this morning. There are countless other passages that encourage and call us to that. But that is not what is the point of this one here this morning. You see, the point here is that Jesus is identifying himself with his followers, with those who have trusted him and become his spiritual family. It's reminiscent of Acts chapter 9 when Saul at this point is on the road to Damascus, headed there to hunt down Christians and murder them. And the ruling, reigning, risen King Jesus comes and knocks him off his horse. And his words to Saul on that day are, "Saul, why are you persecuting me?" You see, Jesus, he intimately aligns with his people. He's not just far off and distant. He is deeply committed to them. You see, it's Jesus' words to Saul that day where, "Are you messing with my people? You are messing with me." You see, there is something incredibly rich and incredibly important as we see there. You see, and understanding who Jesus is identifying with in this passage is crucial to understanding why serving those people matters so much. You see, Jesus' words here, they echo what he taught earlier in Matthew 10. We read when he sent the disciples out on mission to declare and to demonstrate the message of the gospel and his kingly rule and reign. And in Matthew chapter 10, verses 40 through 42, he says to the disciples, the passage closes, "Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me. And anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. And if anyone who gives even a cup of cold water to one of those little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward." You see, in the ancient world, taking someone into your home, receiving someone, welcoming someone with intimacy and friendship, it was a sign of support. It was a sign of agreeing with and affirming what that person stood for and what they were about. You see, and Jesus equates the welcome of his representatives with the acceptance of their message, with the acceptance of him. You see, and so what he's saying is the same thing in our passage this morning. He's saying how we treat Christians in need, especially those who are in need because of their commitment to his mission and to the reality of his purposes and their relationship with him. That's the thing that reveals the reality of our relationship with the King. One commentator puts it this way. Jesus is saying, if you really believe my gospel, how can you not be moved to help those who are suffering because of their commitment to my message? You see, the basis for the King's just judgment isn't ultimately people's actions towards anyone in need, but towards his disciples, his people in need. You see, because those actions reveal the reality of your heart and the truth about your relationship with him. You see, at the heart of Christianity is not good deeds. The heart of Christianity is a relationship with King Jesus. You see, in that relationship, it changes our lives. It gets worked out. It gets revealed in a loving and sacrificial care and concern for others, especially those who are suffering because of their commitment to Jesus and his mission and his gospel. You see, there are two main ways you can tell what someone believes. You can look at what they say and you can look at what they do. And just spoiler alert, what people do is an exponentially better revelation of what they believe than what they say. Actions, they do indeed speak louder than words. You see, the king's judgment will divide people based on their relationship with him. And their relationship with him, Jesus says, is revealed in their actions.